Yeah, the land is green.
The nation is green.
Actually.
And we should all be green. Not with
Really?
envy.
Right.
Not green with envy, but then green means, flourishing.
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
It's a
exactly.
good. It's a good way to start. Okay, today's Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, continuation of the new week.
Right.
All right. Good morning, dearest viewers. Welcome to second day, Tuesday of this week's Morning Spring. I am Kechukwu Maria. So stay tuned for what we have in store for you today.
And of course, what we have in stock for them is very, very bountiful. You already know on the program, we look at the headlines, from our major dailies, and we have them already with us. And then at the other side of that, we then get talking about various issues, and we have many of it to deal with today. The biggest, it appears, especially in the Southwest, and the political scene, was the impeachment of the now former.
Yeah.
And that speaks of the transience of life. Actually, at the start of the day yesterday, Mr. Mudasiru Obasa, Right Honorable Mudasiru Obasa, was the state, Lagos State House of Assembly speaker. But then before the day, the midday, things has changed, and he's now former speaker because he was impeached by his colleagues, and a new person has emerged. For the first time in the history of the Lagos State House of Assembly, they now have a woman speaker, Right Honorable Mojisola, and that is the way it's going to be. He's, he represents the people from Apapa. But then it's not just about the impeachment, it's what transpired for the impeachment. And many persons, political bigwigs, talked about or are talking about like somebody whose cup, got full at some point.
Because there were lots of lists. They outlined a lot of things that he wasn't doing well, things they said they were not comfortable with anymore. So it's, at least, I would say it actually tells a good one with the Lagos State House of Assembly,
How do you mean it's a good one?
Well, for them to have actually come up.
Because somebody has just been impeached, and then you're saying it's a good one. We are not part of the assembly.
Yes, we're not part of it. But if what they outlined actually is what has been going on, it's actually a good one to remove such influence in a gathering like of that nature.
In leadership position.
Yes.
He's still a member of that house.
He's still a member.
Because
so
he cannot be removed from being a member.
Definitely.
Only his people can recall him.
So, but being a leader, it takes a lot.
Of course, it takes a lot.
Since he's not giving out what they actually want.
The question is, what do they want?
Yeah, well, let's believe that what they listed.
Or what they need, or what the Constitution says the functions and responsibility of a leader will be. That's it. And sometimes these conversations, right, it depends on who you are asking.
Yes. Sometimes it might be a gang up.
Exactly. That's why I had to look at you in a way.
That's why I said if what they outlined,
for them.
If what they outlined is actually what is happening,
is their words against his. And by the way, it's not even around in the country. It's far away in ATL.
That's another thing.
Possibly chilling. I'm sure his phones will be buzzing
everybody
right now.
could turn around, could turn against one person.
What?
Is it really possible for the whole house to just sit and decide and say, or probably because he's been there for too long? Because they said, according to reports,
better still, we used to what he's been there for long.
Yeah, so probably for long.
Because
so probably they were
the parliamentarian seat is the one that you can always come back as many times as possible once your people want you to represent them. And I think he has been there for a very long time. So, but then, politically speaking, many persons believe it was possibly the most powerful speaker, in the history of Lagos State, with the way he wields power, with the way he talked, and how strong he was, and how close he was to the power brokers. He was that powerful himself. And I've seen him, heard him address Mr. Governor, especially Jide Sanwo-Olu, a couple of times, and you could see a condescending tone. I'm talking politically now.
Yeah.
And many persons will say it takes a gentleman somebody who is not really given to power, like Sanwo-Olu, to have condoned the excesses, politically speaking, of Mudasiru Obasa, who was that powerful. And then there was a clip that is now, there was a situation and a clip that is now going viral of at the presentation of the 2025 appropriation bill, some of the things he spoke, in which he said, I think was trying to dispel or confirm some things to say, the rumor of him possibly running for the gubernatorial position is the one that, if he wants to do that, he can do that. He doesn't need the endorsement of any family or any royal family to do that. And the people who have been governor before him, they are not better off than himself. And one will want to wonder, that hallowed chamber, that budget presentation, is it the right place for you to say those things? The governor was there to present a budget, speak to the budget, but instead you are throwing shades here and there. And, many persons in Lagos will say the State House of Assembly, the political system in Lagos, especially under his party, possibly have had it up to here.
Yeah.
And they believe this guy,
he needs to go.
And, there are some conjectures as well. Mr. President was home for the Christmas break for a long time. Many persons will say, he's like, this guy has been reported to the man in charge to say, you can see what he's doing. Yeah, and so he had to, maybe in inverted commas now, cut to size. He will still be representing his people.
Of course,
but that seat, he has stepped down. He has been impeached. By the time he returns from his trip, that kind of a trip will be cut short.
No, really, because hearing it alone, he will just want to come down.
He will be returning to that house as a member representing the people of where he came from. I think Agege or something like that. I'm not too sure.
Agege.
Yeah, and so it just speaks to the fact that nobody will be there forever.
And did you see the other video that came out yesterday after he was impeached and some members of his constituency came down to the
that other
assembly.
one.
And when they were, hijacked into the
apprehended,
they changed their tone and said, saying, your mandate was
so that we, if time permits us, we might get to do something like that. For people that didn't know, is the fact that after that boost, the way we say it happened, the impeachment, and there will be food soldier supporters who will say,
no, we don't want this.
We won't agree for you. We not go agree. We will not agree to this.
Is that the 2025 slogan too?
I don't know. Okay, that we will not agree with you people, your decision and all of this. I want to show loyalty. And so they besieged the House of Assembly and all of those. They were rounded off, by the way, by the security agents and thrown into a waiting van. And, as they were there, possibly they didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah, they were
they were now speaking and shouting on top of their voice, oh, this and that and all of this. And they say, we are from this particular place. Oh, we are from Agege. The party leader is here. Yeah. The secretary is here.
We are from a certain party.
And somebody was shouting the party's name, APC, progress, and all of this. All of a sudden, they started on your mandate, we shall stand. Hey.
They for who, they for you.
At the end of the day, possibly there is a system that you can't really fight against. The moment the system moves against you.
Yeah, that's why they say in politics there's no permanent friend, there's no permanent enemy.
They wanted to show loyalty.
Yes, they wanted to show loyalty, but when they saw the turn of events and
they didn't really see the turn of events.
The experience.
They were part of the turn of events.
So and
they were about to be sent to where they didn't bargain for.
At all.
And they were now switching their allegiance to say, oh, whatever the system, accommodates or stipulates, we will stay by that.
That's where we are.
In all of these things. But then, the fact is, as at this morning, Mudasiru Obasa has been impeached, is no more the Speaker of the House of Assembly in Lagos State. There is a new Honorable Speaker, Madam Mojisala, and he's a good one, at least for the women folks.
Yeah.
That means, as it stands, a lady, a woman, is the number 3 in the scheme of things in Lagos State.
In Lagos State. Wow, that's really a good one. At least I can see gender.
The way you are sitting upright and raising your shoulders.
Oh my goodness, please.
Like you are happy with the decision.
I wouldn't say.
Or with the development, rather.
I wouldn't say I'm totally happy, but it's a good one.
Being a woman.
Yeah, being a woman,
the politics aside.
okay, politics aside, yeah, it's a good thing that a woman has actually come into that level, has gotten to that level
because
of
after
power.
the governor, and the deputy, the next is the speaker.
Is the speaker, yeah. So it's a good thing. We're hoping, we're being optimistic that she can actually do better.
When you say we, who? The women folk.
The women folk.
Okay. All right. I didn't know there was a meeting to that effect yesterday.
Oh.
But then it's it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. That's the development. And then the staff of office has been presented to the new Alaafin, Prince Owade. Yesterday it happened in Ibadan. And then there are still talks about the emergence, the Oyomesi part of it, the governor, Sheyi Makinde's end of it. But then he has done that representation. Now, the query, part of the query is the fact that should that presentation of the staff of officers, would it be proper? Is it proper that it happened at the office of the governor and not at the domain of the king? Because that is another conversation. But then, if time permits us, we will look into that in the course of the program today. But as it stands, there needs a new Alaafin-elect. Possibly after the staff of office has been presented, it will now go through the traditional processes and all of those things. It's still Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. We take a quick break. When we return, the people are in. Good morning. On the front page of the Daily Trust for today, the Daily Trust newspaper. Ooh, this is a sad one, actually. But then it is a reality. How Boko Haram killed 40 farmers in Borno. Survivors. 40 human lives taken. And they are farmers in Borno State. And that's a report from survivors of that gruesome attack. Victim for mass burial today. When do we move on, in reality, away from this kind of situation, from this kind of report that has besieged us for too long? 40 people killed by criminals. And then today, there will be mass burial. Lives gone. It can never be retrieved. And then we move on as a people. When I said, how do we move on? I mean, when do we get to that place in which we don't get to record some of these carnage? 40 today, 10 tomorrow, 2 before, 14 somewhere. This is Borno State.
Yeah.
When you go to Zamfara State, you still have some things happening there. Kaduna, some things happening in some part of the country. And the handlers of the government are saying things have improved. How is this what is called, improvement in security of lives and properties? We know this is an asymmetric world. It's not conventional. So it's a difficult one. But then we should make it difficult as well for these criminals to just come, ravage, the land, ransack everything, kill, maim, and get away with it just because they think they can get away with it. This is very, very sad. Now, what will be the mood of the families of these people during the burial? Mass burial. 40 people will be dropped in a grave and then covered up, and life continues.
It's really a sad one.
As a state.
Yeah, it's really a sad one. Whether as a state, as a people, as a country, it's really telling on our image and our reputation. I mean, there are lots of things that we should actually have outgrown by now as 64 or 65. We're going to be 65. So.
Yeah, 64-year-old country.
Yeah.
Soon to be 65. Pursue attackers, Zulum tells military. Pursue attackers, Zulum tells military. All right. And, below that you have the picture of the same Zulum, how to function. Away from that, federal government confirms bird flu outbreak in Kano. Federal government confirms bird flu outbreak in Kano. And PDP crisis, Anyanwu resumes as secretary despite court order. Yes. Anyanwu resumes as secretary despite court order, and lawmakers query JAMB for spending 9 billion naira on meals, trips, trainings, others. 9 billion naira on meals, trips, trainings, and others. And top strip, tax reform bills top agenda as National Assembly resumes today. Plenary resumes today at the National Assembly. And Nigeria won the National Assembly members, every critical stakeholders in the system to, let's get done. Let's get done with, this tax reform thing. And, since that cost Lagos Speaker his seat, all right, and that since is written in inverted commas. You might want to pick up a copy of this paper to see those things, that threw him out of that office. And single-use textbooks, parents allege racketeering in private schools. Okay, single-use textbooks, parents allege racketeering in private schools, and I dare, say that this is a conversation worth having now. For those that don't know, single-use textbook is the fact that they are the kind of textbooks that the exercise will be done inside that same book, right? Yeah. So it means it can only be used by a pupil or a student. So that's what it means. And that wasn't the case before.
Yeah.
You have your textbook and then you have your notebooks. So if there are exercises, you do it in your notebooks and submit. If there are comprehension, you read it from your textbooks. If there are exercises, you answer it and all of those things. But the way it's been done now, you are forced, especially in primary schools, that those pupils will have to answer it inside. So the moment they graduate with that class, that's all. With that book. And so their siblings or friends or cousins cannot use that book again. But that wasn't the situation.
Well,
because in the past, the moment your elder brother or your elder sister, finishes with a book and the book is still in good condition, when you get to that class, you pick it up and use the same book in as much that same textbook is still being used in that particular school. But now, that is not the case. No matter the price of, that book, you are done with it.
Yeah.
And so what do you do with it? Just discard it somewhere. Even if it is neat and in proper condition, and, parents are saying it is racketeering.
Yes.
And it's looking like it, because there are sometimes you see some books that have been, recommended for your words, and you are thinking, does this guy really need this book? Because parents will say, it's like the publishers will go to schools and they have a business arrangement for them to just sell those books. That. Either is needed or it's not needed.
I remember my time in the secondary school. As on my during the UBE session, I used books from my sisters. By the time I got to senior secondary SS1, we were forced to write, to do our work and exercises in the textbooks. So meaning if I had a younger one,
classes.
Yes, if I had a younger one,
that's all.
That person would have been able to use my books. But it's actually stressing the parents financially, because imagine someone that has 5 children. So for every class the person gets into, whereas you have a child that has actually gone through the primary section and can actually pass on these books to the younger ones, and they can't use it. And when you even bring it to school, you see this form of attitude that the school gives to you, the teachers give to the child, like, oh, your mates are writing, you can't write in here, you can't do this, There's always this
And I
feeling.
think that's the more reason why you have to have that conversation, because really it's looking like racketeering. Like there are some arrangements that some persons just want to have to make sharp gains, not minding the people that we pay.
And the economy is not a good place for us to be doing that kind of thing right now. Because
and when you say 5 children, so many persons right now will say you have 5 children. I had a friend who said, some things are not moving, and somebody said, it's because some persons give back to a lot of children. And somebody said 4 children or 5 children. Somebody said, the parents are not good people. He said, why?
Why?
He said, good people don't give back to 5 children.
Really? So how many? 1?
Well, that is his own opinion. That will be from the front page of the Daily Trust.
And on the Punch this morning, we have inside story, how hubris intrigues power play sealed Obasa's fate. How hubris intrigues power play sealed Obasa's fate. And we have the writer there. Deputy Speaker Miranda sworn in as Lagos' first female speaker. Sanwo-Olu claims innocence. Okay, why are they dragging Sanwo-Olu into this?
Well,
he wasn't in the Hello Chamber when it happened.
This is politics.
Of
People
course, I know
really
it's
want to point at him to say maybe he's the one that getting booted. And I said something the other time to say the Sanwo-Olu guy. I'm talking about His Excellency now, Jide Sanwo-Olu. Many persons say he has been utterly a gentleman on this matter. He has tried to look away, especially with the excesses, with the tone of the speaker. Politically speaking, in Nigeria, not many governors will have allowed an Obasa to stay down long. Yeah. Because they might not be in the Hello Chamber, but you know, if a governor wants things done, they have their ways, actually.
Of course, they do have their
possibly
ways.
Things have just taken a natural form. And the guy will say, that's the governor in this case, is see my hands, not on this matter.
Really?
Yeah. And you could see how unanimous the decision was.
Yes, that's what I was talking about.
To book the guy away.
It was a very unanimous decision, and they were just out for him. That's just the truth, because it just happened. And not only that, they also took away the clerk. They suspended the clerk also, which, according to reports, said it was Obasa that brought him in single-handedly.
But that's the issue. If an Obasa brought him in, but he has a constitutional job to do, let him do his job, except they don't trust his loyalty.
Well,
maybe.
It's possible.
Because the clerk of that house is an important member. Clerk of every house is an important member. And if actually there is somebody that feels he might be circumventing the job of the house or giving privileged information out, then they might think possibly his position has to be rethinked. He has been suspended. Possibly a meeting will now be had with him to know to be sure where does your loyalty
where he stands
lie.
Exactly. Well, we have a picture there of we have new Lagos House of Assembly Speaker Mojisola Miranda representing Apapa constituency, fifth left with all the members after the Speaker of the House in Lagos on Monday. Okay, so we have pictures there, a lot of them. Now we have also coronation dates fixed as Alaafin designate gets staff of office. We talked about this earlier. He has been given the insignia to show that you are the Alaafin.
Yeah.
And on a sad note, we have gospel singer arrested with severe core member's head in Nasarawa. And this story has been trending for a while. I saw it yesterday, last night. And some persons are asking, how safe are ladies now? Now we're talking about those that follow Yahoo boys. How about this case particularly? This one is with a gospel singer.
Alleged gospel singer.
Okay, alleged gospel singer, but it has been making the news, like he has been tagged as a gospel singer.
Yeah, of course, that's what he's known for. So that's right. That tone is right. But then in reality, that means the guy's just been disguising.
Yes, he's just been disguising.
In fact, some even said, there's a newspaper that said he's a pastor. Okay, the guy in question, and you know, just this before, the guy went on his social media and gave motivational talks. Yeah. And all of these things, and you know, and just yesterday or thereabout, he was found with, you know, a head of a supposed lover. Yeah. Supposed to be your lover. This is the person you say you love. Like, but then the question you asked is, ladies now,
how safe are ladies?
Yeah, like, but then we just have to be careful. I say that humans,
just have to be careful, really.
Let's be careful. Know what you are going for. For the fraudsters that you talk about, the ones we call Yahoo, I dare say 80% of their girlfriends know what they do.
Yeah,
they do.
It's, that's,
you know, because that's why they are called Pablets. They are girlfriends to Pablos. And some of them, in fact, there are some young ladies who wants to be with these Pablos. Yes,
who are actually looking for them. They don't even
for the opportunity,
you know,
because of the free money.
Yeah, I saw a video trending yesterday, and a girl was, I would say that at most that girl should be 20. Okay. Said broke guys should be eliminated from the face of the earth, and I'm like,
I don't know where you get to see them, and some of these guys.
Really,
but then
like it's
anybody have opportunity to say whatever. He speaks to value. Just like I said, a large chunk of these young ladies who end up with these fraudsters, they know what those guys do. In fact, some of them are part of the syndicate as well. If you understand the taker, the picker, All of these things, the term they used, some of them know, and some maybe it's very small percentage don't know.
Don't know.
Okay.
Most of the time, also, these guys use the females as a bait to get the people they want, because most times
that's why I say you understand.
Yeah, when you're with the males, you feel very gritty, you feel very agitated. But when you see a woman, you're like, okay, that's my female, that's my fellow female.
Let's just all be careful.
Yeah, we really need to be careful.
Right.
This is really a sad one. So we have tax bills. Senate meets federal government team, plans public hearing. Okay. And we have depots raise petrol price to 950 naira per liter. Why? Depots raise petrol price to 950 naira per liter. Was the reduction just for the Yuletide, for the festive season?
Is what
so
it is.
Nigerians will say we are back to square one. Or what? Okay. Again, Boko Haram strikes in Borno, kills 40, abducts scores. Port rehabilitation delayed despite $700 million loan. And on the last story in the Punch this morning, we have tariff hike, telcos, ICT firms, all banks, 1.69 trillion naira.
Only.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that'll be all on the Punch this morning.
All right, straight to The Nation. The Nation newspaper for today. How federal government plans to raise 36.35 trillion naira revenue by Bagudu. That is on the front page of The Nation newspaper. How federal government plans to raise 36.35 trillion naira revenue by Bagudu. And here, below that, Oyo Agog as a laughing get staff of office. And of course, you can see the laughing there with the staff of office and certificate, endorsing, signaling is official, the official pronouncement as the laughing for you. Of course, there's this traditional part of it, which I think we start anytime soon to get to talk about that in the course of the program. All right, and bottom strip, 4 airlines to lift 2025 pilgrims and group reject Mbata as Ohaneze president. As this back and forth with the leadership of the social cultural Igbo group, Ohaneze Ndibo. And moving on, while Lagos Speaker Obasa was removed, Princess Miranda takes over Mochi Miranda. Tight security around the assembly, of course. Those guys that finally sang Your Monday we should stand. I don't know if actually they were released, but I'm sure they will not smell the 1,000 meters radius of that assembly complex. Now, Air Force probes Zamfara accidental bombing. Naomi, others get 30 million naira bail. Okay, here Naomi, that's the former Olori of the Oni of Ife. Naomi Shilepola and Mr. Amzat, Oriyomi Amzat, and Mr. Fashasi. Okay, 3 of them were given principal bail yesterday to the combined tune of 30 million naira. So possibly when they complete their bail conditions, they will be out, on bail, possibly to attend to the court cases and everything that will come. Now that we hear that Oyo State has filed another round of charges against them. Hiswap kills 40 farmers in Borno. We said that earlier. And CDS to troops halt terror. Okay, I know the CDS spoke last week to say insecurity will be a thing of the past and security in Nigeria will improve in 2025. Nigerians will say, we are waiting, we are supporting you, but these are not the kind of figures and informations we want to be having. Now, Anyahu back as PDP National Secretary, Olugwagba Keys, and Senate panel, federal government team meet over tax return reform bills and why Tinubu should intervene in AMCON. firm dispute. And you can see the man, Mr. Tinubu, there, together with Paul Kagame, that is the president of Rwanda, yesterday. That will be all from the front page of the Nation newspaper.
Okay, and from the Nation, we move to the Guardian this morning. We have USSD codes may become inactive in 14 days over banks' 250 billion naira debts. I take that again. USSD codes may become inactive in 14 days over banks' 250 billion naira debts. And the riders there, you have, though the CBN had stated that payment agreements, whether as lump sums or installments, must be finalized by January 2, 2025, with full settlement due by July 2, 2025. Telcos are now backed by the NCC to suspend USSD services over poor commitment from 18 banks. And we have the finance and the telecom there in the picture. You can see lots of banks are being listed, and the telecom, we also have lots of service providers being listed there. We have Laswed pensioners cry out to Sanwo-Olu over months unpaid pension. Laswed pensioners cry out to Sanwo-Olu over 31 months unpaid pension. Okay. 31 months.
That's a lot, man.
That's a stockpile. Clark seeks suspension of NGF as report exposes state's shortcomings. Lagos broadcast stations, NLC protests non-payment of minimum wage. Yeah, that story came up yesterday. They shut down the Lagos State TV and the radio over non-payment of the minimum wage. I'm like, okay, this is 2025. A lot of persons have aggrieved Nigerians who are actually looking forward to an increase in their salaries. I mean, to better their life, because the economy actually, to be truthful, if we're saying the truth, is not actually working out for everybody.
The state-owned TV and radio station.
Yeah.
Okay. He was shut down by who?
Yesterday,
the labor unions.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were protesting yesterday
in Lagos. So where's the problem? The government or the administration of those stations? Because of course there should be a management in charge of this. So where's the fault from? Maybe
they feel like that's where they'll be heard from. They'll be better heard if they go
if everything is shut down.
Yeah, if they go to the state-owned TV.
Because we are talking about Lagos. They shouldn't be owing. Lagos has no business with owing anybody.
Well, that's the belief all have.
That's what it should be.
Lagos. Sometimes my mom.
Because some of these bottlenecks might not really be from government.
The government. Yeah, it might be from the
stream management, wrong paperwork, or somebody has not just done what they should do. These are some of. But now that the cry is out, the jury is in the open. Those stations have been shut down. Culpability should be returned to where it belongs. Of
course, I'm sure right now a lot of persons, those responsible for this, will have to actually come out to talk right now. And we have the picture there of the Oyo State governor and the Alaafin-elect, with the governor handing over the staff of office to him. And we have there Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde Wright presenting certificates and staff of office to the new Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Akim Abimbola, at the Executive Chamber, Governor's Office, Ibadan, yesterday. Ohaneze, Ikore groups threaten protests over Mbata's emergence. Federal government okays 1,125 naira daily feeding allowance for correctional inmates.
How much?
1,125 naira daily.
Daily. 1,125 naira daily.
Yeah.
Not per meal.
Not per meal.
Daily.
I'm just imagining what that could actually do for.
You can't imagine. Drop the imagination. Don't even try.
Like imagining if actually they are going to be on 3 square meal a day. how is it going to be shared?
That's what I'm trying to ascertain. Is it daily or per meal?
Daily. That's what they're reporting. Federal government, okay, it's 1,125 naira daily feeding allowance.
So if it is 1,125, let's imagine it's in 3 places. That's less than 400 naira per meal.
Yeah, that's less than 400 naira per meal. Oh, maybe they're going to share it in a ratio of
or 2 times. If it's 2 times, it's less than 600 naira.
Even 600 naira, what is it going to get?
Nothing.
Someone?
Absolutely
like,
nothing.
How okay?
You can't even get a loaf of bread.
Like,
that's supposed to be a correctional center.
Yeah.
What correction can be made to a hungry person? An incarcerated person who is now hungry?
Is an angry man.
That's good.
ISWAP kills 40 farmers in Borno despite paying levies. Okay, we were talking about this sometime. You talked about this, that they were levied heavily.
Yeah.
Now, they paid the levies and they were still killed. Like, what?
Sad reality.
How exactly? I would use that word again. Which way forward? I think you're the one that used that this morning.
Yeah.
What's the way forward in Nigeria? What exactly are we going to do? Now they tried to help themselves. Still, they were being attacked. Now on the top strip this morning, we have Lagos Assembly alleges infractions against Obasa, elects first female speaker. Tax reform bills set for passage as Senate FIRs clear key hurdles. And the last story there on The Guardian this morning, we have NAS probes alleged 4 trillion naira loss to waivers by agencies. NAS probes alleged 4 trillion naira loss to waivers by agencies. Are we talking about loss to waivers? How about the food waivers that we were told we're going to have for 6 months and it hasn't even started?
The importation, right?
Yes.
Duty free.
Yeah, the 6 months elapsed at December or in January already for New Year, and we were hearing nothing about it.
Right.
Now, so where is the loss coming from exactly? Okay.
It calls for a serious All right. Would that be all?
Yeah, that will be all on The Guardian.
All right. Away from that too, finally, the Nigerian Tribune. No guarantee yet that there will be no more grid collapse. No guarantee yet that there will be no more grid collapse. Prime Minister says the system crashed only 8 times in 2024.
Oh, wow.
Insecurity, vandalism, poor infrastructure remain major threats to grid. And ministry plans solar light CCTV for highways. Senators hit discos again. One privatization reversed. Let me go back to this first line of the riders. Says, that's the minister, says a system crashed only 8 times. Are we supposed to be happy that, okay, it wasn't the reported 13 times or 12 times, it's only 8 times? I'm not sure. Somebody who says that, I don't have anything personal with Minister Delabu, but any minister who will say that, under his watch, the grid collapsed 8 times. And so he's trying to defend. It's looking like it. Yeah, he's trying to defend that it's not as many as you people are, saying it. It's just 8 times. I'm not sure that kind of a person should still maintain that job.
It's actually an achievement.
Because it's an admission of, failure, so to speak. That is you being a mediocre. It's an admission of mediocrity 8 times. So that's more like, oh, you guys, you are lying. It's only 8 times. So that 8 times in a year, in a calendar year, 12 months, 8 times, according to the Minister, we should,
we should be at
we
peace.
should understand.
We should understand.
So don't raise eyebrow.
Is it a form of achievement?
It is only 8 times. So you should know. And there is no guarantee that it's not going to collapse again. Interesting. Right. So what does that signal to investors? Actually. Well, I understand the place of saying the truth, telling the truth. But what are you doing? Don't just make it to look like, oh, okay, I'm just being truthful. You are being truthful. What does that do to a foreign investor, even a local investor who has the money, but who has the means to take it off Nigeria. I'd rather take my money to where I will have a return on investment in 5 years than in a place that the Minister for Power is telling me that in a year, the grid only collapsed 8 times. Only 8 times. And then there is no assurance that this will not happen again. I mean, what does that do to my business?
We should be looking out for this year. Already there were speculations.
What has happened last week? No speculation happened.
But they came out to deny it this year and said there was no grid collapse.
All right, I agree. Nigerians will be the judge of that. Now, police arrest gospel singer caught with girlfriend's head in Nasarawa. Let's all be careful. Every woman, every lady, every man as well. But in this case, you know, it's looking like the ladies are a strange species right now. Endangered species. You know, and everybody is just feasting on them. Please be careful. Don't let this love thing or whatever cover you from seeing the reality of the person you want to be with. As they say, love is a beautiful thing, but you know, let it follow the head and not just only the heart this time around. Run!
Work with both your head and your heart, because following just the heart can just lead you to something else. The heart is very fragile.
Okay, Tuku 2025.
Right.
Moving on, a former college registrar found dead at home in Plateau.
Wow.
Sad. Ibadan Stampede court admits Naomi Oriyomi, principal, to 10 million naira bail. Right, 2 shorties each. Right. Now, loss of revenue. NAS Joint Committee on Finance to probe MDA's over 4 trillion naira shortfall. And Makinde presents new Alaafin staff of office and certificate. Threatens to prosecute Oyomesi over bribery allegation. Coronation to hold in 4 weeks. And, you know, Mr. Makinde, Engineer Sheyi Makinde, was very categorical while he was fielding questions, you know, addressing the whole matter to say this is how he got to that conclusion and the endorsement of Prince Owadi as the new Alaafin elect and all of those things, you know, allegations on the Oyomesi. The Oyomesis are the Afobajes. The Afobajes are the kingmakers. And that, okay, the process wasn't what it should be. Bribery allegation, okay, and all of that. And he had to do what he has to do according to the dictates of the law to arrive at the emergence of the new Alaafin right now. But another question being asked is the fact that presentation of staff of office, shouldn't it have been done in the enclave, you know, on the land in which the Alaafin, you know, will be coronated as the Alaafin in front of his people? But somebody, okay, we will look into that. Don't let's preempt the conversation as well. But then what the public opinion is, how will you get staff of office in another domain then take it? Not in another office, in another domain. It happened in Ibadan. You now take that certificate and staff of office to your domain, you know, to go. But then, what do we know?
Yeah.
These are some of the issues. Here, why Obasa was sacked as Lagos Assembly gets first female speaker, Miranda. Clerk suspended. 36.35 trillion revenue target. How we will realize our projection, that's Minister of Budget, Atiku Bagudu, former Kebbi governor. Anayahu resumes as PDP National Secretary. Supporters storm Secretariat. All right, there is big trouble in Little China on this matter. And that will be all on the headline segment for today. When we come back, we will be speaking to history. We'll be speaking to tradition. We'll be speaking to new development. You don't want to miss any part of this program. Stay with us.